Good afternoon, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I'm having a little unexpected quickie visit to the garden. I say quickie, it's probably going to be a couple of hours. I wasn't planning to come today other than to water, but I'm so excited. I'm just back from our little local nursery where I was spending my lovely gift vouchers, thank you so much, on some gorgeous herbs. And as we had arranged, one of my plot neighbours, Kay, on her way home from her volunteering this morning, was going to be going past the nursery, so she said, why don't I meet you there and I'll give you a lift back, which was fabulous. And while we were there, we bumped into another one of our allotmenteers, and she lives in a place that's really awkward to get to on public transport. Bless her, she had bags in her trolley, so she got in the car too. Yay! Oh, do you know what? There's such a lovely fab vibe on this site at the moment. Really, just so sort of communal and everyone sort of pitching in with everyone else. And yesterday, it was the royal wedding and the FA Cup final. I wasn't interested in the FA Cup final because my team weren't in it. But my team are in the Champions League next week. Come on, Liverpool! Anyway, sorry, I digress. So yesterday it was another blazing hot day, and the grass, all this sort of communal grass, desperately needed mowing again. It wasn't one of our working party days per se, but we decided, you know what, the grass needs cutting, let's get it all cut. And then later on in our our barbecue picnic communal area, we had arranged to have a little picnic at 3 o'clock. It was so lovely. My goodness, the food. Everyone brought so much food. It was ridiculous. And Kay, who gave me the lift today, made the most gorgeous pavlova. Oh, and it was in the shape of an H for Harry and an M for Meghan. Harry got eaten first. he got gobbled up pretty quickly. But it was lovely, and it's just one of those things. I know some of you say that on your sites you don't have that kind of community feeling, but you never know. You know, if you've got beautiful weather, it can be impromptu, maybe a week ahead. Say, hey, you know, next Saturday, why don't we all bring down a bit of food, some rugs, and have a little impromptu picnic? You get to know your fellow plotters better. And having that kind of social aspect to the site, that's kind of what it should all be about. You know, we don't garden alone in our back gardens. We garden in a communal space. We all need to care for the space. We all need to contribute. And the more we do that, the more it pays us back. Yay! Happy days. Anyway, I'm so excited. I want to show you some of the herbs I bought today. What a contrast to those ones that were sent through the post. So, starting, no particular order, I've got some lovage. So this is going to get really, really tall, maybe 5 or 6 feet tall. It's something I've been wanting for ages because it's a great celery substitute. So it's going to be a beautiful plant. It will give some shade to the cold frame, brilliant. But more than that, if, like this year when my celery has failed, it's kind of like my backup for celery, so I can't wait to start using that. A lot of these are going to be for teas, because I really, really like to take my medicine, if you like, as a tea. But as the season goes on and as these plants grow, I'll talk more about the different things I want to use them for, whether it's medicinal, culinary, beautifying. So I also have some Tansy. Again, this is going to get quite big. Now, as soon as I say the word Tansy, it makes me think of the that beautiful, beautiful speech in Hamlet that Ophelia makes. Is it Ophelia? Here's Tansy and rue for you. So yes, some Tansy. That's also going to get quite big. Just to talk about the bed and the soil condition as well, a lot of the things I bought today really do want quite rich. They want it free draining, but they want a rich soil. These are going to be big, lush, green plants, as opposed to the small, kind of low growing, tough little Mediterranean type things. So if you think of like the thymes and even the lavenders to an extent. So yes, they will be having some organic matter added. A fennel, which I will be using mainly for the seeds because I love fennel seed tea. Woo! Hyssop. Haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do with the hyssop yet, but it's such a beautiful plant. And the other thing about all of these things is, or the vast majority, plus some more things I'm going to put in there, is they're all going to be loved by the bees especially, but also butterflies, hoverflies, all those wonderful insects we want to encourage into the garden. I would have bought lots more of this, but they only had this one. This is chamomile. This is nobile, or nobile, I don't know how you pronounce it, but this is the chamomile that I will make tea from. So the little white daisy flowers with the little yellow centre, as opposed to, say, a chamomile that's a lawn chamomile, which is a very sort of short growing one that sort of you'd plant loads and loads, they mat together to form a lawn. So if you're wanting it for tea, just make sure you get the right variety. You don't want lawn chamomile because you won't really get the flowers. Yum, 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 can't wait for it. It's been years. I think I grew chamomile about 5 or 6 years ago, and I loved having my own chamomile tea. Borage, of course, the bees love borage, and you can't possibly have a pins at the height of summer without a borage flower. There's going to be, they're mostly sort of in the blues and the purple ranges of colours, all of these little herbs. So amongst the blues and purples, I am going to just chuck every now and again some calendula, because I think that bright orange with the blue is just such a gorgeous, pizzazzy kind of colour combo. Can't wait. Some St John's wort, again for tea. It's really good. It's been shown to be good for low mood. Brilliant. However, as with any herbs that you're using, if you're taking any sort of medication, you must do your research, either through your doctor or a naturopath, because there are a lot of herbs which are contraindicated. So for instance in pregnancy, but also their interaction with other drugs. So for instance, and I know this from a friend at uni, when all those millions of years ago, St John's wort can completely negate the effect of the contraceptive pill. So the last thing you want to be doing is taking contraceptive pill to avoid non-wanted pregnancy, then taking St John's wort, and you know what happens. So please, please, please do check with, like I say, either your doctor or a trusted healthcare professional. And then more hyssop. Yes, more hyssop. I've got a white hyssop and a blue hyssop. Then, oh, I've bashed it. Oh, I'm sorry, it'll pick up. Some sweet cecily. This is going to be another big one. I've really bashed it. Oh dear. I'm as bad as that company. With gorgeous little white flowers, and you can use it for sweetening things. So especially if you've got those tart fruits from the garden, so your gooseberries, rhubarb, that sort of thing, it's really nice to use to just take away some of the tartness. And then last of all is Feverfew, which is another daisy-like flower, rather like the chamomile. So probably what most people know for Feverfew is its use as an anti-migraine drug. So when I was really little, I've had migraine all my life. When I was about, I think, 16 or so, I was put into a trial through the pain clinic up in Liverpool to use Feverfew, and I did feel like it helped. It was pretty horrid to take it, and back those days it can be quite irritating gastrically in your mouth, so I used to have it in a sandwich just so it didn't sort of irritate my oral cavity quite so much. But yeah, so I'm quite interested to think about using Feverfew again. We'll see. So, wow, how brilliant. They're gorgeous. Can't wait to get them in the ground. I must get on because I don't know, it's about 4 o'clock, it's late in the afternoon, I need to water, I need to do a million and one things, but I'm just so excited I wanted to share these with you. Also, as I was arriving, I was having a quick chat with my neighbour Gary, and we were both moaning about all the disasters this year. So he's got no carrots either. I'm going to resow. Well, I've decided I'm going to resow today because the one thing that Gary did have spares of were leeks. Yay! So if you remember, I sowed leeks in that hinky compost. Nothing happened for 4 weeks. Resowed, and they're really not coming to anything. So he's given me some spare leeks. Brilliant. So the leeks and carrots can get planted and sown in a second. We'll go out there. And then in return, I think Gary doesn't have any cucumbers. I've got 2 neighbours whose cucumbers have totally failed. So I think I've got plenty spare. So I shall give them my spare cucumbers. See, it's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, that's what I mean about that sense of community. It's, you know, where I'm having a disaster, someone's helping me out, and when they're having a disaster, I'm trying to help them out. It all goes around. Yay! Anyway, enough of the chit chat. Let's get in the garden and do some carrots and leeks and what have you. Right. I'm well and truly conceded defeat with the carrots. Sown 4 weeks ago and not a single one showing, and it seems to be across the board on site this year. So without further ado, I'm not going to think about it anymore, I'm just going to resow. Oh my goodness, it's the year of resowing, it seems. Yeah, it does feel frustrating to kind of be doubling up on jobs, as it were. You do a job, you want it done, and a few weeks later you have to come back and do it all over again. Never mind. Never mind. The good thing is it's not too late to do it again. So, fingers firmly crossed for this little lot. The other really wonderful thing, this bed is also going to have the leeks in, which I'll show you shortly. Carrots. Hi. Let's say hi. Cheerio. Yeah, I'm going to have the leeks interplanted where the 2 rows of string are. But the leeks were one of those that I started in the hinky compost, so they just, I mean, they didn't even come up, never mind come up and struggle. Started a second sowing, which also struggled, but today, woohoo! I've been given spares by, these are from Gary, so I thought, right, they obviously need to, he's just pulled them out of his seed bed, so they obviously need to go in today. So I thought, right, that's it. Second sowing of carrots. While I'm at it, carrots in, leeks in, and then hopefully this little bed can start to get away. Because it does feel really odd to be at this time in the year and to still have so much bare space in the plot. Right, so that's some Autumn King, and I do have some of the Rothild left over from the first sowing. So this one's new to me this year. This one I'm going to use as a sort of the first to pick, and then the Autumn King will be for over the winter, just stay in the ground. Oh, have I got enough left? Oh, very little, so I might just bung a few more Autumn King in as I go. So if I concentrate the Rothild at this end, you can tell it's a bit of a funny year because even the weeds aren't growing very much. Woohoo! Which is great, but I would normally be expecting to weed this sort of bed every other week by now. Not happening. Right, where's that autumn thing? Opla. What a beautiful bright afternoon again. This weather really is gorgeous, but we've got no rain. Anyway, so I'm going to get my leeks in now. I say my leeks. Leeks have been given by Gary. Thank you so much. So normally I would have a big pot with tons of leeks in, and what I find the easiest way I've found over the years to get them all out and as individuals is I literally take the whole lot out of the pot, and then I put them into a bowl of water and give them a bit of a swirl around, and it just helps to separate each little plantlet and its roots. However, these have come from lots of little individual cells in one of Gary's cold frames, so I don't need to do that today. They should just come apart quite easily. And then to plant them, I'll show you now, but good old faithful dibber. All I'm going to do is dib a hole, oh gosh, probably 10 to 15 centimetres deep. Dib a hole, take one of my leeks, let me show you, and simply drop it into the hole. I might have to give it a little twist as I go to help get those roots down, and that's it. I don't backfill the hole, just leave it in the hole, and then when I come along and watering into the hole, it just helps that soil gently fill back in. Right, so the carrots are all covered. I've given them another soaking. Time to get on with the leeks. Very simply, dib a nice hole. Grab one of my little plantlets, and in it goes. Like I say, you might sometimes need to twist them a little just to encourage the roots down. I'm going to do them about 12 inches apart, I think. Gosh, I'm so grateful to plot neighbours this year for sharing their sort of excess produce or seedlings with me. I really feel scuppered otherwise. And of course, you know, I'll have some spares of squash and cucumbers, etc., so I can hopefully repay the favour and the kindness that everyone's done me. In you go, little one. So the idea of doing the alliums and carrots together is, in theory, in companion planting, the allium, the smell of the allium deters the carrot fly, and the smell of the carrots deters the allium leaf miner. That's the theory, but I'm going to use enviromesh all the same, just as a backup, because let's face it, every single plant in the garden this year is going to be precious. I can't afford to lose anything else now. Just trying to decide where to put things. I have decided for definite that I'm going to have a little path up the middle, hopefully from bricks if I can find enough. And actually, to explain it, so path in from the front end there, and then up to about here, because if I can stand here I can reach those to harvest, and then reach the little things either side to harvest. that's the plan. So these are all going to be really pretty tall, 1.5 meters, even up to 2 meters. A lot of them are sort of anywhere between sort of 50 centimetres, 70 centimetres. So I know I put these tapes in the other day. Didn't really think it all through, did I? Never mind. I've got loads of this left, so for now I'm going to actually leave them there because I don't know whether they'll come good or not anyway, and just get everything planted today, including the lovage right here where some of the lilies are. If they come through, they come through. If they don't, they don't. That's fine. And yeah, if these things come through, I can always lift them and move them. But in the middle, they will definitely be coming out, just so I can extend that path somehow. Right, let's start getting this little lot in. Oh, so exciting! Yay! Nearly there. Right in the middle of the lilies. So lovely to have. Oh, that's one of the lilies out. Never mind, I'll pop it back. It's just so lovely to have. Actually, I won't, it's rotten. Yeah, to have a few lovely little healthy plants to play with. Oh. Maybe this is going to get going now. I hope so. There we go, that one's going to get huge, I hope. Surrounded by random calendula. Oh, happy days. Happy, happy days. Oops, seed tape, never mind. Oh, great roots, look at the roots on that, beautiful. Oh, look at the roots on that. Get these in and give it all massive soaking. Oh, seed tape. Seed tape's bone dry. I can't see that coming to anything, but we'll give it a go. And what's my last one? A hyssop. Yay! I don't know if you saw or remember seeing a video I did at the beginning of January. Oh, it was one of my first outings after my knee op, and it was for the planting of our community orchard out here in one of the local parks. And in case you didn't see it, what they've asked is that locals adopt a tree, an individual adopts a tree and looks after it. So I'm here for my weekly watering session. I'll just show you how this watering thing works. Excuse my shadow. So there's this kind of plastic sleeve over it. That's what we're to aim the water into, so it sort of concentrates it down there. So yes, it's the once a week event of watering the trees, but this one isn't mine. Mine is the one over here with the little yellow ribbon. Hello! Did you miss me? Oh, it's great to see them all getting their leaves and looking, yeah, pretty healthy. So, it's time to deliver some water. What I tend to do is bring about 5 litres with me once a week at the moment. If it continues really dry, I might have to do that more than once a week. But I want to encourage it to put its roots down. So for today, 5 litres. Happy tree. Well, what an unexpected pleasure this afternoon, more like evening, has been. It was supposed to be quickly come down here, drop the herbs off, go back home to get on with other things. But you know what it's like when you're in the garden? Oh, you just can't leave it, can you? And then just when you think you're about to leave, you see one more job to do. So the light's going. Oh my goodness. So as you've just seen as well, I have popped out to my my pear tree. It's not mine, it's the one I've adopted, so I'm going to look after it for the next few years to just give it some water now. Resowed those carrots, the leeks, thank you Gary, are in, the herbs are all in, thank you anonymous benefactor, and I've spent about an hour watering. Oh my goodness. I'd rather not water so much, obviously, but at this stage things just do not have the root systems to be able to get down that sort of 3 or 4 inches before we hit the moist soil. There's a load of seed in the ground, and obviously they've not got their roots at all yet, so I am having to water. My water butt about 2.5, 3 weeks ago when we last had rain, it was great. That lasted me 3 days of watering. So I'm thinking if I have 10 water butts, that would give me 30 days worth of watering if we had enough rain. Anyway, yes, so the watering is done, the pear tree is watered, things are in the ground. I am highly motivated to get home because my tummy is rumbling. I haven't eaten since breakfast because that kind of suddenly going off to the nursery and then coming here. But it's all, it's so great. I love it. Loving it. And you know, all those things that aren't working and aren't happening, if it was just me, I'd be getting seriously paranoid and worried. But it's across the board. So if you're in a similar situation, please don't think that you've necessarily done something wrong, especially if this is your first year. Please don't be put off. It just seems we're having a bit of a tricky start. And remember, we're still officially only in spring. It's not even the end of May. So there's still time. Oh, it's been so beautiful. I'm just loving it at the moment. It's the time of day when loads of folk have come down to water as well, so it's lovely just catching up with folk and sharing horror stories of the seeds that haven't worked. It's wonderful. But I really must go because I'm hungry, so I'm going to say cheerio to you all for now. I hope you're managing to have some lovely time in your gardens, nurturing your gorgeous little wee baby plants. Keep the faith if things aren't happening. I'm sure with a drop of rain things will start to happen. I will see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, take care and have fun in your garden.